Dan, what's happening, man? How are you? Good morning.
Hey, guys. I mean, I know y'all talked about it probably before I got in the car, but Will Wade has to get out in front of this. I mean, letting it dribble out in drips and drabs is just not a good look. And I hope there's nothing substantive to it. And if there's not, he needs to come out and get way out in front of it and take the story away. The problem is, if he doesn't, every time another little snippet gets leaked, you had the whole discussion all over again.
I don't know if he can grab it right now, Dan. Can he? I mean, is the toothpaste already out of the tube from Wade's point of view, and the fact of if you get out and try to kill it now? I mean, there's possibly more information that could come out after your current statement, isn't it? Right, just to kind of sit back, let the flames go up, and let's just see what happens and sort it all out.
So the house doesn't burn down.
But this is the issue: is hopefully he has a recollection of stuff he did say. And the problem is instead of coming out and saying, yeah, I talked to this guy Dawkins a few times. He was a nut job. He kept bringing up this and kept bringing up that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I basically told him, we're not doing that way. That's not what we do, that sort of thing. Instead, he's just like, never had any official interactions with him. Well, okay, but then it looks like you're lying when they dribble out the conversation you actually had. Get out in front of it. Tell us what really happened, assuming it wasn't an NCAA violation. I mean, frankly, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Dan, that's the crux of this entire situation, man.
Read between the lines, Dan, but there's no smoking gun.
But if it did happen, that's why the guy at USA Today was like, oh, he should be fired immediately because his silence.
It's deafening.
Look like
it's deafening.
Something bad.
The silence is deafening.
Okay. And so thank you, Dan. You actually great call. You raised a ton of great points. Okay, here's the deal. It's not a good look. Like we said, the defense is floating these kind of stories. They are letting it dribble out for maximum exposure. Next big LSU win, expect a transcript of the third call to leak. But here's the deal, Dan. Maybe there is some shadiness that allegedly went on. It's up to them to prove it. The war of public opinion is already lost. Look at the national headlines. It's over. There's no grabbing the narrative. At this point, you're playing defense. You're just trying not to get caught red-handed. And even Wade's quote about Dawkins speaks that. What did he say? He never said never talked to him. He says, I never did any sort of business transactions with him. And up to this point, nothing that we know necessarily 100% proves that to be untrue.
Ken in Baton Rouge, line 2. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
What's up, man?
Go ahead, Ken. You're in the open field. Run.
Okay. Well, I don't want to know how sausage is made, but I love sausage.
I do too. I do too, man. I'll eat all the sausage in the world.
That's well said. And we've got the curtain pulled back, and it's nasty back there, Ken. Everybody's involved.
Yeah, but I think what this really smells of, let's just get into a nice deep conspiracy theory run here. The Blue Bloods are not real happy about the rise of Will Wade, and I think they've sicked the dogs after him.
That's right. You know who's a great Twitter account to follow that narrative is Dick Vitale. I mean, Dick Vitale looks like the mouthpiece right now for the Blue Bloods of college basketball.
It's crazy. It's crazy that like the amount of people that Dickie V has supported in his career.
It's amazing. I mean, come on, Dick.
And then John Calipari's gotten 2 Final Fours vacated. Like, he's actually already had them vacated at multiple schools. And yet when he went to Kentucky, he just suddenly cleaned up his act.
Sure. Got better players, too.
Great timing.
Yeah. I think we just need to keep the smell test out here, and just kind of keep an eye out what's going on because who knows what really goes on in the back rooms, what's really going on. I'm not naive enough to think that nobody's getting nothing, but it's going on everywhere, and suddenly all the fingers are pointing at Will Wade because he's just too successful too fast.
Yep. Ken, never forget this. Never forget this. Exactly a year ago, they were talking about Bruce Pearl like he would not coach a basketball game ever again. Like he would never walk a sideline ever again. You hadn't heard his name pop up this season. Sean Miller, they've got it documenting. They've got it documented of $100,000 in cash transferring or between Miller and DeAndre Ayton's handlers. Miller's still walking the sidelines for Arizona. I mean,
now Miller may be in a little more trouble. He's a little more dead to rights.
But as we speak today,
yes.
I mean, he was dead to rights a year ago.
Look, I don't ever like.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken. I don't like to ever reference Matthew Moscona. But I did actually agree with his take yesterday when guys like Wolken are saying LSU should do the right thing and immediately sit way down and cancel the season, et cetera, et cetera. Why is that the right thing? Remember, in these NCAA violations, federal investigations, whatever you want to say, looking like you've done something wrong is not the same as 100% being caught doing something wrong. You mentioned Bruce Pearl. Some of the examples that Moscona used yesterday. It is very much provable and on record that Cam Newton's dad was shopping him. That it was going to take
They have him on tape.
That's what I'm saying. That it was going to take money to get him to go wherever you wanted to go. Nothing happened there. You had Johnny Manziel covered with autographed memorabilia in a room. He missed a first half. So, prove it. Prove it.
Anonymous user, I hate how much I'm agreeing with T-Bob today. Jeff and Kenner, line 3. Good morning, Jeff.
T-Bob, you gave Matt Moscona credit.
I know. Look, Jeff, I don't want to dwell on it, okay? Okay, let's move on.
I'm stunned. I had all these great takes, and I'm stunned that you gave him credit. Okay, well, hey, you know what? What infuriates me, guys, and y'all hit on this, is that the Yahoo report and the national headlines and all, it's guilty before innocence, and they're trying him in the clickbait world, and it's irresponsible, unprofessional, and it's asinine. And Moscona did nail it, and it infuriates me. And Wolken, this guy Wolken, he's been on a couple of shows I've heard nationally. Nobody's challenging, and they're letting this go because it's clickbait, and it creates a buzz, and it's a bunch of smoke. Did he do something wrong? We don't know. I mean, but it's retarded, and Moscona again, you don't want to give him credit, but he really did nail it. We could go down a list of 10 major programs that nothing happened, and it was much worse, and they had proof. And in this case, there is no proof yet. This is all conjecture. You know, they have a wiretap. We don't know what he said. We don't know what exactly happened. And you could tell I get fired up about this. And as an LSU alum and as an ex-journalist, it infuriates me how unprofessional the media nationally is about this story.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Look, I do think this is just journalists doing their job. If someone gives you this story, you have to run with it. Now, to your point, some of the more opinionated articles, I could see you taking issue with that. But remember, this is a tactic of the defense. You mentioned them trying him in the court of public opinion. The defense are leaking these stories after LSU does something big because they want maximum exposure. They want the public to believe that Wade was complicit and therefore freeing up Gatto and Dawkins and Code.
Let's go down to Metairie on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. Daniel's dialing us up. Good morning, Dan.
Morning, guys. Loving the show. Hey, you guys need to take calls more often, though, man.
What you got, Daniel?
The one thing, even if this all goes down, smoking gun, burning flames, stick by Wade, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to a buddy about it yesterday. Number one, maybe it's just me, but I have nothing morally wrong with any of these kids getting a little bit of money. I remember the report you guys were doing a couple weeks ago. How much were people paying to get into that Duke UNC game?
Yeah,
$10,000.
Yeah. One ticket went for $10,000. Average price was $2,500, $4,000 in other places. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Coach Wade, if you're listening to this, we're 100% with you. And I love how LSU, how Tiger family has kind of rallied around this.
Yeah.
Wish the basketball team would come out all black warm-ups. Play take it to another level.
Daniel, I'm going to put you on my PR team, man. I love you. Good call. Let's go to Ryan in Baton Rouge, or Chris in Baton Rouge, or Ryan in Baton Rouge. All right, let's go to Ryan in Baton Rouge. Hold tight.
Isn't it in the NCAA's best interest for all the coaches to just shut their mouth to protect their biggest brands? Because we all know that they're all involved in it.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't make sense for me for Will Wade to go on the trial and say anything, because you know that the defense is going to pull every single coach that they possibly can to do the best for their clients. So that includes Kansas and Arizona and who else knows. I mean, we all know Duke Zion is playing for the Duke education, right? You know, he's,
for sure. 10 months.
That's why he turned down the Kansas payment plan.
Yeah.
So if I'm Will Wade, I don't say anything, because if the NCAA was smart, they're not going to get anybody on this. If this was an independent NCAA investigation, I would be more worried. But in all reality, if they want to protect their college basketball brand, which clearly they do, then everybody just shut up and just go along and plead the fifth.
Thank you, Ryan.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chappelle said it best.
All right, one more call here. Let's go to Chris in Baton Rouge. Chris, good morning.
What's up, fellas? So Ryan just absolutely hit the nail on the head, and that's what I was calling to say was I want to know what the NCAA's end game on this is, right? Because now it's so publicly visible and everything's happening. And are we going to end up with a few scapegoats here that go down? Guys like Will Wade, who you said, got too big too fast, won too much too fast. But what is the end game here for the NCAA? And is this going to be so publicly visible for a while? And then we'll have a few scapegoats, and then it goes away, and then the blue bloods continue to be the blue bloods, and we act like this isn't happening moving forward.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's a great scenario to paint out because the NCAA, in my opinion, quite intelligently, has not yet marked their game plan on how they're going to attack.
No, they're playing defense. They're playing D as well.
Absolutely,
right
because
Exactly.
they don't want to step into the pit and start looking around and start having to turn over all the rocks of the people that are allegedly playing this game, because if they do, you can cancel the tournament. You can cancel the season.
Exactly.
Because everybody's got their hand. Who was the caller a couple of minutes ago? Jeff said, look, I like the sausage. I love the sausage. Yeah. I just don't like looking how it's made. Right now, the curtain's being flung back, and you're getting a chance to see how the sausage is made, and everybody's got their hand in it. So, I mean, if the NCAA wants to get involved, they'll cripple the sport.
Now,
exactly, and that's the thing. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
No, the fans really don't care.
I mean,
they just want to watch a good product.
That's what I was telling someone on Twitter
Thank you,
earlier
Chris.
as well. Great call, Chris. It's simply like the fervor over March Madness shows that if the product is good, people don't really care. Now, as far as the NCAA goes, they are saying that a unit will be in place in October to investigate major violations. But here's the deal.
Like they did at North Carolina?
So that's the point, right? The NCAA can always rely on the American attention span moving on quite quickly. Look at the North Carolina case. When you read the original reports about shadow degrees, it looked like you were going to have to take away multiple national titles, like almost decades worth of stuff, and like literally almost nothing
Business
happened
as usual.
to them. Yeah.
All right, great calls. Appreciate your interaction out there. Fantastic interaction from the listeners this morning. Next, LSU back on the practice field. Spring football. How's our call board look right now?